Welcome everyone to Deals to Design, and well, here I am with Forrest. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How is your week treating you?
It's good. It's been a really busy week. Mainly selling lots of furniture, but it's also so quiet in Guadalajara with Semana Santa. But most of my clients are in the United States and they do not know it's a holiday. So it is kind of funny because every time there's a holiday either here or there, I just don't get to celebrate any of them because Mexicans want to work when there's a United States holiday, and then Mexican Americans want to work when there's a Mexican holiday. So, but
Well, that's pretty good that you have almost the entire city for yourself.
I know it's so quiet. We sent all of our people to you to deal with, and I actually love it because it's so quiet and beautiful this time of year. And they'll be back soon enough. So
That's good. That's pretty good. Well, so let me have him for a while. So that's good. No problem. It's
yeah,
good for me. So
treat
well,
them well.
I can see right now more people walking on the street. Right now I'm here at the office, and I can see from here more people walking. And I'm sure it's gonna later today. We're gonna have more people or buses. I can see the traffic, which is kind of normal. And well,
Yeah,
you know that that the last section of the highway it's been completed, so or almost completed for what I've been told.
yeah,
So it's a lot of people from Guadalajara, they are gonna be more often over here. Or people
yeah.
from Vallarta, we can go there to Guadalajara and drive or take the bus.
Yeah, definitely. And I have friends that moved here from Puerto Vallarta, so I'm sure they will let me know how the road is. It's really interesting though, because every time I either drive or take the bus to PV, it's very interesting to see how much the road has changed. Because in the last few years, like every time you go, you're like on a different road a little bit,
That's
and it's quicker,
exactly.
quicker. So, uh,
Exactly. I do enjoy to take the bus to Guadalajara. I'd rather to do that instead of taking the a flight there because it's like a 45 minutes or
yeah,
less. So I'd
I
rather
agree.
be there.
I
Yeah.
agree, and it's so beautiful. I think Jalisco and Nayarit, but especially Jalisco, is one of the most beautiful states in the world, especially going through tequila and stuff. So it's a beautiful bus ride. So
You haven't been in Nuevo León yet, right?
to where?
You haven't been in Nuevo León yet, right?
No, I haven't. I have
Okay,
not.
well, you need to go to Nuevo
It's more
León.
beautiful. So,
It's kind of similar as Jalisco, but yes,
yeah,
and I'm from Monterrey, so I'm just that's
you
why.
know, we are all very proud people from our states.
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what it is. But yeah, well, it's been a very incredible week here too. I had the chance to see new developments in town,
yeah.
and it's been amazing. I mean, especially in the art district of Puerto Vallarta. So they are very cool opportunities, and I
Yeah,
think.
I'm really interested about that area now. What new developments are they having put up there now?
Okay, well, thank you for the question because it's a very interesting one.
Yeah.
It's one that is named Art Walk. That what I found it that it's very interesting. It's that it's on the art district of Puerto Vallarta. Just people, if you've been in Vallarta, or people that they've been in Vallarta, they may know about this restaurant that is named Pipis, that
Okay.
it's super close to the Malecon. A lot of people they go there. It's like a very Tex-Mex food. Not my thing, but there are people that they love it, right? However, in that location, it's like a 3 blocks walking distance to the Malecon, or probably 2 blocks. You
Yeah.
are super close to everything. Café des Artistes, that many people they know about this restaurant, is also a couple of blocks from there. So
Mhm.
and what I do love about that property itself, it's that they will have an art gallery, which is pretty cool. I haven't seen a development that they have an art gallery there that they will feature, and they will help the local artists to show their art too. And also they have a deal with some different artists in the city too, that they're well known, that they will put their art there too. So which I think is it's a fantastic opportunity to people to see that they can put their talent over there. Other cool thing about that is that they have the, have you heard about the lead certification in construction?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, I have actually. I'm a certified green building
oh, that's
um
awesome.
yeah, professional. So yeah, I got that in the United States. So I'm very into green stuff, and it's very interesting how Mexico is catching up and almost getting ahead of the United States in a lot of their projects. So
And this is very interesting. Well, I didn't know that you have the certification, and this building has that certification too. I had the chance to talk to the developer about how you get the certification, and then he explained me, blah blah blah. So they had to present the project, and in order to get the certification, and I found it very interesting to how they did it. They are gonna have, well, they have studios, one bedroom, and two bedrooms over there. They have a natural pond there. They're gonna have a wellness room or a yoga area, sorry, a gym. It's gonna be, they're gonna have their own on-site property management if people they want to rent it to. I think it's pretty unique, and also for the fact that the facade, and it's not just the concept, the facade, it's pretty interesting too because they're using this material that is named chumun or chukum, that in the south they use it a lot. I will find out a little bit more about it too, but the look of the building, it's totally different as what you can find here in Vallarta probably.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Like it's very interesting to see new, interesting place buildings being put up. Because sometimes they get a little cookie cutter. So I love to see new and unique places for sure. So.
That's, yeah, that's very interesting. So for example, question for you. A ver, so if you have an, how would you furnish, or what ideas would you give to someone about what type of furniture they can put on a studio? Let's say like a 400 square feet of living space, more or less.
Well, it really depends on the property. So you kind of, I really like to integrate this style of the building when you're furnishing a place and also like aspects of the community and the location that you're in. So with a studio, it can fluctuate a lot just because sometimes everything's built in and you only need a bed, or you only need a bed and maybe a couple of chairs. But then in some studios, you need a bed plus a sofa, and then more of a living room area too. So I really like to kind of meet with someone and see their personality, then analyze the building, and then also look into the local area to kind of combine everything. And I guess price wise, it really depends. Um, Mainly, like I was just looking back at our old projects, and it used to be around like $15,000 per unit. But now it's usually easier to calculate in a way that it's around $7,000 per room, per primary room. So the way you do that is you subtract like the kitchen, the bathroom, and the laundry area, and then you add the rest of the rooms. So, like in my apartment, there's a bedroom, living room, dining room. So we had three rooms here. So it would be about $21,000 for decoration and furniture. So I do know a little bit about artwork, and the units, a lot of the furniture is modular, is like built in. So it would be less to furnish that type of a building. But yeah, that's kind of around $7,000.
Okay.
Más o menos. Like it's also, I've been working on a project in San Pancho recently, and my client's been a little bit shocked because the dollar is so weak. So I know
So,
that you probably see that a little bit right now too. So
yeah.
yeah, there's a little bit of sticker shock just with the dollar at the moment.
For example, what type of materials do you think people they need to use here? Because of course they are not the same ones that you will use in your place in Guadalajara or in Mexico City or in Monterrey. I don't know. because well, here we know that tends to be very humid sometimes, or in the summer, or things can be rusted a little bit. So what?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
something you really need to take in consideration and be careful about, like where you buy your furniture or which interior designer. Um, and the main issue is with wood. So in Puerto Vallarta, you usually want to use Rosa Morado or Perota. Also, Primavera is pretty good, which is almost like a white oak. Um, Things that you want to stay away from, which I have a lot in my house, is we have a lot of pine here that we use. It's less expensive and it holds up really well here, but we are also not nearly as humid. So, and also you guys have a lot of termite issues occasionally.
yeah.
So really it's mainly the wood structure of upholstery furniture is important too, because a lot of people will use pine for that as well. And then this is just a personal preference, but I tend to stay away from leather, especially for a sofa, in a place like Puerto Vallarta, just because it gets hot and humid and you're kind of like sliding all over it. I think for draperies, I love linens and cottons, but we also sometimes use poly blends just because of the humidity. So it's you just have to get weather resistant and furniture that's termite resistant as well.
That's good to know, because I think people, well, sometimes people ask me about materials, and for example, for wood, I know Parota, it's a good one.
Mhm.
And in every showing, um, it's funny because when agents they show their kitchen, oh, and this is Parota wood, and people are like, what is that? How would you define that to people from the States or Canada that are watching this about what Parota is? I mean, I know what Parota wood is, and it's very, I mean, it's easy for me to explain that to a Mexican, but someone that they live in New York, for example, or
Yeah.
Japan, what is Parota? O sea, how you will explain that to them?
Um, it's a difficult question. I think the easiest way that I would do it is just say it's kind of like teca. It's kind of like teak. But it's a indigenous wood from Mexico, but it's very resistant. It can be outside. So I think most Americans and Canadians would be um, more used to teak wood because we use it for outdoor furniture a lot. So I would just associate it with that. Um, and it's fairly the same, like with its characteristics, besides it's darker. It doesn't have that lighter darker, so but yeah, it's just a natural wood, indigenous wood from Mexico. So.
Okay. So for the, well, I told you about this place that they have studios and all this concept. They have also two bedrooms. Will be a difference of the for the size of the condominiums, for example, for the prices that people they need just to take in consideration about if they want to furnish it.
It does not really change the price that much. It's really counting the rooms because most two bedrooms are going to have the living room and the dining room. So it's more like counting the pieces of furniture that you need and adding that up, and then the decoration to go with it. So if it's a huge place, of course, you need more. But I do think in Puerto Vallarta, it seems like um, they're not making the huge places that we used to see in Cotas Chinas anymore. Like it's more smaller places. It's getting busy, so a little bit more intimate spaces. So I think usually the $7,000 per room is a good measurement for it.
So now that you mentioned that the space are more intimate, um, is that very hard, for example, to create a space for a couple that they can have in that intimate space that they can have kind of their own privacy at the same time? Or is it like you know what, you have to deal with this and you are stuck with two people, there are two people and they're going to be there in that, I mean, is that very hard or to create those type of spaces for them, let's say in a one bedroom, two bedrooms?
Yeah, well, hopefully the person you're with, you want to like be around them anyway. But I think in Puerto Vallarta, like you have a unique chance to utilize the exterior spaces too. Because a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times when I stay in PV, like I'm going to go outside and work by myself anyway. It's just like, why wouldn't you go and like look at the nature and work? It makes it a little bit easier. But I think if you just kind of zone it off where like either someone's working in the kitchen or outside, but I mean, I think a couple of people can function fairly well in the more intimate spaces. So, and I've lived in really large homes, and I live in a fairly, it's not small, but it's a great size, almost a little bit too big for me. And I actually prefer things that are a little more intimate and less to take care of.
Well, yeah, that's right. Less than take care of. It's very interesting that you say that about at least here in Vallarta, how we incorporate the indoor-outdoor space. If you walk or if you've been in places in Gringo Gulch, they have these, or I saw places that everything is open. I mean, there is no windows.
Yeah.
They try to incorporate that. That was back on the day when Elizabeth Taylor used to come here, right? I don't know. Have you seen this type of properties here?
Of
That
course,
have,
I used to live right next to her house. I could touch her house from my from my door. So yeah, I've seen them. I loved it. It was actually a little shocking the first time I saw, like, because we enclose everything in the United States for weather. I was like, they just keep everything open here. So, but then you get used to it. I like both. So
what was your biggest shock when you moved to Mexico?
um, I don't know, probably chilaquiles and eating and eating breakfast at like 11. So
Well, you're right.
yeah, besides that, because like since I was a green building a professional, um, it was very strange for me to see how open some buildings are. Like it's just almost like you open blinds and then you're outside. So because we really shut everything up in the United States. So
Well, also for the weather, I think depends of where you are. If you are in a
yeah,
city that is very cold sometimes, right? Yeah, makes sense. Well, it's the same kind of in Mexico City, Monterrey, or even in Guadalajara too.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
nice. That's
So I
pretty.
would love to know more about the building in that area too, just because I used to live in Gringo Gulch, kind of near there, but I just don't know a lot about the arts district. So
Okay, well, one of the things that I love about there, it's close to a street that is named Allende. So that
mhm.
is the only street that connects from the Malecon to the 200. So
Okay.
eventually, close to that building, it's gonna be in my mind. I always see that because I used to live close to there or in that street on Allende Street.
Mhm.
It's gonna be very commercial because it's just one way and it's the one it's gonna be, or it is right now probably the shortcut if you don't want to do the entire move to go to the other part of town. So that's number one. I think accessibility it's good. Other thing, as I told you, is the art gallery. It's also on a street that it's end street. So the only traffic that you will get there, it's the local traffic too. Um, the developer, as I told you, it's worked perfectly to make it as a lead project. And so far, if I'm not wrong, this is the only there are two projects in this part of town. Probably I'm wrong, but it's just two projects that I know that they have the lead certification, which is good. That they
Yeah.
are willing to give something to the community or to the world. So which is
Yeah.
fantastic. Also, well, right now people they are seeing the type of the look of the building. So technically, the condominiums, some of the condominiums, if you check, if you think that it's like a U building,
Mhm.
where I am here, this is the ocean, and this is the building. The entrance is probably over here, and here in front where you are the mountains. So technically, they are taking advantage of all the breeze
Yeah.
mountains provide, because it's on a steep, not on a steep hill. Before that, the hill starts to be very steep, but they have the technically like a lot of natural light. They have the air fluctuation. They have the views, the location. So that's pretty good. And also, well, the most affordable unit with the maximum discount right now is 452,000 US dollars for a studio,
Oh,
of course, right?
yeah.
So it is affordable too. Also, that they have the rental program too, that they will charge um, uh, per service, like X amount of dollars. For example, I think they're $50 that they will do it. If someone is buying a unit there and they want to rent it, they will charge just $50 per rent, right?
Okay.
Versus other property management that they charge you their fee and a percentage of that. These ones, they are like a $50, and that's all. If you
Yeah.
have one rental for 1 month, it's $50. If you have
Oh,
four,
wow.
200. So, but that's good. And the HOA is gonna include, well, just the common areas too. But I think the concept is pretty good. I think it's a nice concept for what it is around, and for people that they, what I tell people, because it's very interesting when I tell them, hey, do you know where Gringo Gulch is? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, it's just across the river. They're like, oh, it's too far because they're so used here in Zona Romantica. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's super close. Technically, just you walk, do exercise, go into the Malecon, and then you will walk here to Zona Romantica, and it's gonna be what, 20 minutes, 30 minutes walk, probably.
At the most, at the very most.
Yes, and probably 5 minutes if you take a taxi or Uber, or 7 minutes max. So one of the advantage of that is that it's centrally located. So for people that are looking for location, a very unique product too, and with cool vibe, I think this is a good one. And also for pricing, it's I think it's right now in the area is the best price
Yeah.
right now in the area, with the amenities, also for the amenities too, because probably you can find another property for 150 or 170,
Yeah.
but they don't have any amenities
Yeah.
in the area, in the building too. So
And
that's
I'm
why.
sure people will be more they'll be happier with their light bill too. Once when you live in one of the green buildings, like your electricity is a lot less too, with like all the
Yeah,
features you see with the air coming down the mountain and stuff. So and electricity is not cheap in Mexico.
yeah, and they try to integrate the to put plants into the hallways and things like that. So they really are trying to make it to, or well, no, they're not trying. They're making this to work pretty good. So right now, it's just they clear the piece of land, and they are marking everything just to work and make it happen.
Cool.
That's
Cool.
good. So yeah, so that's well, that's pretty good. So it's something that else that you want to share with all of us that we don't know about, the any idea that people they need to know if they want to furnish their. Oh, sorry. I have one question for you. So, what will be what will be your recommendation if someone wants to buy a property and furnish it, to rent it? Do you think that they need to go and put a lot of money on that, or just to be more conservative into that for the usage that people they are gonna use it a lot for the rental purposes? What is your thoughts about it?
So I was actually thinking about this earlier today. It kind of fits with both questions. I think one of the best ways to create wealth with properties and PV is to purchase something, usually a pre-sale or something that's about to be available, and to furnish it comfortably but not extravagantly. So somewhere in between, like you want a sofa that's not hard as a brick and they're easy to find in Mexico. So like you want I think it's very important to create like a very comfortable and cozy atmosphere because I go and stay in the same places over and over and over again. And I think a lot of people in PV are the same way. Like they get used to a certain apartment, so they'll go back to it all the time. So I think you want to find some kind of happy medium of comfortable, but not too expensive. But another thing that I think people should know about furniture in Guadalajara and in Mexico in general is it's reasonable, but it's not cheap because the quality is very high. And I think a lot of people come to Mexico and they're like, everything has to be cheap. Everything has to be cheap. But it's like it's not a piece of furniture from China. Like it's handmade. It's like artisanal, pretty much, even though a lot of it's modern. So I think people need to remember the quality that they're getting as well. So also, if you go too cheap on the furniture when you're going to rent it, it's just going to fall apart. So you're going to have to buy it again before you sell the place, sell it without, or so I think look for quality, look for value, and then a really good way to create wealth is to kind of purchase a place, keep it for about 3.5, 4 years, well furnished, and rent it, and then maybe upgrade to a new place after that. So.
That's awesome. So where is your studio located in Guadalajara if people that are watching this or if they're
Um, I live in Letron de Guevara. It's part of Americana, so I am right near Chapultepec. I always tell people I live in the Esquina de Chido. Like it's almost cool here. So so like wherever I move, it seems like it ends up getting trendy. But it's just getting there. And we have a huge 20, I think it's a 23-story building that's about to open up, hopefully in a couple of months. It was supposed to be open last July. But we'll see how it goes. And I think it's just going to change everything. But yeah, it's a beautiful area, lots of trees, great restaurants. So yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Forrest, thank you so much for having this conversation that people they get to know more about your business, they get to know more about me and to share these ideas. And yeah, something else that you want to add into this conversation?
No, I just really appreciate it. And I'm glad to talk about things. Like I know I get super nerdy about design, as you probably get very nerdy about real estate, but I enjoy that about both of us too.
Yeah, thank you. No, no, I really enjoy this because it's like a new word for me. And I'm terrible with design and things like that. I mean, I probably have an idea, but I'm like, I don't know how to put. I mean, if I'll go to a furniture store and if they give me the piece of furniture and if I have to assemble this or do all those things, I'm like, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, I mean I can do it, but I'm not good at that either. So we'll
So
get someone to do it.
yes, exactly. It's not gonna happen. So I probably have the ideas, but yeah. So thank you. No. So I probably just do more real estate and then you do more furniture things. So yes.
That works. All right. Well, thank you so much.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you for being here. And well, I invite people to keep watching these episodes and these videos and these conversations. So we are doing this conversation very casual for all of you. And if you have any questions about furniture and design, well, you know that Forrest has his furniture tours in Guadalajara. So you can send him an email or you can follow him on Instagram. That actually he's a very influencer on Instagram, this guy. So you follow him there. And if you want to know more about real estate, well, here in Vallarta, well, you know that you can contact me. Kidding. But yes, of course, contact me.
Of course.
That's good. Well, Forrest, thank you so much. And well, I'll see you in 2 more weeks.
Okay. Sounds good. Thanks.
Good. Bye.